If you're not advertising on Sun FM TV, then you're probably not being heard or seen. Come on board and advertise with us. Everyone's not only listening, everyone is watching. Your finest radio station is responsible for the dawn of a new era in Zambian broadcasting.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
For in-depth news coverage from across Zambia, local and national news, business, politics and sports, this is the Sun FM News, brought to you by ABSA. Your story matters.
The news.
Reinstated following his death in line with constitutional provisions. The United Nations has reported that new statistics indicate a child experiences violence every 4 minutes globally, resulting in an estimated 120,000 child deaths each year. Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabwiswe, says government policy is not centered on merely appeasing investors, but on strengthening Zambia's economy through job creation and decreasing value in the mining sector. In sports, Copper Queens midfielder Dynamo Cup of Nations WAFCON expressing confidence and determination ahead. Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha State Council has clarified that the presidential benefits of late 60th Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu were reinstated following his death in line with constitutional provisions. Mr. Kabesha explained that under Zambian law, when a former president who adding that this was the case with President Lungu after death. He criticized critics opposing the government's stance on according the late president a state funeral, describing such arguments as rooted in ignorance of the law. Mr. Kabesha insisted that in death, President Lungu is no longer a political elders and former presidents to assist in guiding the negotiations aimed at ensuring that the late president is laid to rest in Zambia in accordance with national dignity and constitutional tradition.
A legal and emotional standoff continues to unfold between the Zambian government and the in Zambia through mutual consent, avoiding a prolonged court battle.
Let's continue
encouraging and sending messages to the Lungu family as we wait for the final decision as to when we'll be burying. I would have suggested.
Hakainde Hichilema has called for urgent global action to protect children's rights, mental health, and safety against violence. At the 11th International Consultation of Child Helplines in Livingston, President Hichilema said he reaffirmed Zambia's commitment to strengthening child protection systems, including 24/7 toll-free helplines 116 and 933, which reach even the most remote areas. President Hichilema added that as the African Union champions on ending child marriage, Zambia, in a speech delivered on his behalf by Minister of Community Development and Social Services, Doreen Mwamba.
Is timely. This thing is powerful and deeply aligned with our national.
We must also show that we have a voice. And we should shout loudly and proudly about the work we're all doing. Child helplines are changing outcomes for children and young people one child at a time, almost everywhere, regardless of the channel and the context. And present, children and young people do not have access to child helplines in around 40 countries. This is what keeps us up at night. And Child Helpline International, we're committed to working with our partners like UNICEF, many partners at national level and governments to fill these gaps, supporting the startup of child helpline services.
The conference is being held a subsidiary of the Yuanxing Group for its continued investment in Zambia, a strategic step towards a step forward in cement and lime production. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to fostering an investment climate
revised since 1969, positively itself as a leading player in the global building materials industry.
Also in attendance was
to grow our market share and make profits. We are not shy, we are here to make profits, but we make profits in a decent manner to ensure that we share the value chain with the rest of the communities.
Copperbelt Province Minister Elisha Matambo
industrial development at the core of its development agenda, representing a bold step forward in the country's shared vision of industrial growth, fostering private sector-led growth, environmental sustainability, and inclusive economic transformation.
The investment is a clear signal of job creation across various sectors.
100,000 persons of concern, including refugees, asylum seekers, and former refugees, primarily in Maheba, Mayukwa, and Muntapala settlements, speaking during the official international community in commemorating World Refugee Day under the theme Solidarity with Refugees and the national theme Ubuntu in Action, Empowering Refugees. To uphold responsible journalism as a cornerstone of national development. Speaking during the launch of the Media Self-Regulation of Zambia Secretariat, Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mwe Citizenry, Mr. Mwetwa said that government wants the media to champion accountability and ensure that citizens have access to accurate and reliable information. He reaffirmed the government's commitment
to the public regarding our work and our professional ethical conduct. Honorable Minister, MSCZ requires the participation of all practicing journalists. Currently, our membership categories include journalists from print media, radio, and television, digital platforms that are still sitting on the fence.
Minister of Justice, Princess Kasune, has refuted ongoing speculations regarding the contents of the proposed Constitution Amendment Bill number 7 of 2025, urging citizens to familiarize themselves with its provisions before drawing conclusions that the circulating claims, particularly those concerning presidential tenure, are unfounded and misleading.
That is no near the proposed.
And our leadership, the same applies. There are many members who are women in churches, of course, but when it comes to leadership, they are the least. When we talk of our
MPs will work more closely as chiefs to accelerate development. 2015 and 2022.
Has acknowledged that while there is no specific budget line for child helpline services, the government is actively working with partners committed to advancing children's welfare. Ms. Mwamba highlighted ongoing collaboration with the Child Helpline Zambia to implement policies and strategies that promote the child inclusivity and safeguard children's rights. She praised the Child Helpline Zambia as a key partner